Okay, good morning students. Today now you are to see next topic, pre-fertilization structures and events. Here before fertilization, what are the parts mostly present? Then what is the structure mostly present in the fertilization process? Okay, first of all, the hormonal and structural changes in plant. It leads to differentiation and development of floral primordium. Here some of the changes it will occur in a flower, that is called floral primordium. Okay, first one is the male reproductive part, androecium. You have to see the first one is androecium. What is meant by androecium? What are the parts mostly present in an androecium? What are the functions of androecium? You have to see one by one. Androecium is mostly made up of stamens. Here each stamen possesses an anther and a filament. It mostly consists of an anther and a filament. Anther bears pollen grains which represents the male gametophyte. That is, the pollen grains are nothing but a male gametophyte. Shall we discuss about the structure and development of anther in a detailed manner? So here there are three sentences mostly present. Androecium mostly made up of stamens. Each stamens only possesses anther and filament. There is a structure and also pollen grains. The anther bears the pollen grains, that is called male gametophyte. Next we will see the detailed structure of anther. Okay, first one, development of anther. A very young anther develops as a homogeneous mass of cells surrounded by an epidermis. There is a cell, or otherwise an anther develops as a homogeneous mass of cells. Homogeneous means nothing but a same structure, a same cells it will present. Homogeneous, same. Homo means same. Homogeneous mass of cells surrounded by a epidermis. During its development, the anther assumes a four-lobed structure. Each lobe, a row or a few rows of hypodermal cells become enlarged with a conspicuous nucleus it will present. In an each lobe, there are a row and a few rows of hypodermal cells. Hypo means below. Below the epidermal cells, some of the cells are enlarged and conspicuous in nucleus also there. This functions as archisporium. That the cell, it will functions as a archisporium. The archisporial cells divide by periclinal division to form primary parietal cells towards the epidermis and primary sporogenous cells towards the inner side of the anther. That is the cells, how they are formed. Here the first one is the functions the archisporium. What is the functions as archisporium? The archisporial cells divide by periclinal division to form primary parietal cells towards the epidermis and primary sporogenous cells towards the inner side of the anther. The next one is primary parietal cells undergo a series of periclinal divisions or anticlinal division and form 2 to 5 layers of anther walls composed of endothelium, middle layers and tapetum from periphery to center. Here there are 4 layers or 2 to 5 layers it will present in this anther walls. Here the primary parietal cells undergoes a series of periclinal and anticlinal division and form 2 to 5 layers of anther walls composed of which one? First one is endothelium, middle layer and tapetum and from periphery to center layer. First one is epidermis. Then microsporogenesis. Micro means minute. Here how the sporogenesis it will occur. The stages involved in the formation of haploid microspore from diploid microspore mother cell through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. There is a process. A stages mostly involved in the formation of haploid microspore from microspore mother cells through meiosis process. It is called microsporogenesis. Here the primary sporogenous cells directly or indirectly. The primary sporogenous cells directly or may undergo a few mitotic division to form sporogenous tissues. Sporogenous tissues also there. The last generation of sporogenous tissue functions as microspore mother cells. The last generation of sporogenous cells functions as microspore mother cells, that is MMC. Each microspore mother cells divides mitotically to form tetrad of 4 haploid microspore, that is microspore tetrad in condition. Tetrad means 4 cells. Microspores soon separate from one another and remain free in anther lobe and develop into pollen grains. Microscope soon separate from the one another and remain free in anther lobe and develop into pollen grains. In some plants, all the microspores in a microsporangium remain held together called pollinium. What is meant by pollinium? It is mostly present in a calotropis, in a flower. All the microspores in a microsporangium remain held together, that is called pollinium. Good example is calotropis. Then pollinia. The pollinia is attached. The pollinia are attached to the clump or clip-like sticky structure called corpusculum. Pollinia mostly attached to the clamp or clip-like sticky structure is called corpusculum, or otherwise the filamentous or thread-like part arising from each pollinium is called retinaculum. The whole structure looks like inverted letter Y and it is called translator. Here corpusculum, retinaculum and translator. These are the three words very essential for this structure. Okay, here there is a development of anther. Here there is a one anther primordium. From that, the differentiation of archisporial cells occur. Archisporial cells, again it will divide it into number of cells. Parietal cells, sporogenous cells are formed. Formation of wall formation it will occur. There is first one is epidermis, middle layer, tapetum and sporogenous cells it will present. Then epidermis it will undergo some of the mitotic division, it will form, that is the outer layer, outer covering is there, epidermis. Then endothecium, that is it will mostly present in a transverse layer. Then middle layer, tapetum, pollen jetted in condition, stomium. Stomium, there is no layers it will present in that area, stomium. Then connective tissue. Then microspores are present in this lobe, single lobe. Then TS of mature anther, there is a structure it will present TS of mature anther. A transverse section of mature anther reveals that presence of anther cavity surrounded by an anther wall. It is mostly a bilobed dithecus in nature, each lobe having two theca. Dithecus. A typical anther is tetrasporangiate. Tetra means four. Spore sporangiate condition it will present. First one is anther wall. You have to see one by one anther wall. Which one is anther wall? The mature anther wall consists of following layers. First one, epidermis, endothecium, middle layers and tapetum. Epidermis, endothecium, middle layers and tapetum. First one, epidermis. It is a single layer and protective in function. Epidermis is nothing but a single layer. It also protect the inner parts of this structure and protect the function. It is a very important, most important function is protection. The cells undergo repeated anticlinal division to cope up with the rapidly enlarging internal tissues. There is a function is protection. Okay, next one is endothecium. It is generally a single layer of radically elongated cells found below the epidermis. It is a single layer, radially elongated cells found below the epidermis. The inner tangential wall develops bands, sometimes radial walls also there, of a cellulose, sometimes also slightly lignified. It mostly made up of cellulose or lignin. The cells are hygroscopic in nature. They are absorb the water. That is nothing but hygroscopic. In the anthers of aquatic plants, saprophytes, clistogamous flowers and extreme parasites. Clistogamous means nothing but the closed flowers are there. Aquatic plants, water plants, saprophytes. There are dead organisms. They depending upon their food. They are dead organisms. Saprophytes, clistogamous flowers, and extreme parasites are there. The endothelial differentiation is totally absent. The cells along the junction of the two sporangia of the anther lobe lack these thickenings. This region is called stomium. Which one is stomium? The cells along the junction of the two sporangia of an anther lobe lack this thickening. This region is called stomium. This region, along with the hygroscopic nature of endothecium, helps in the digestion of anther at maturity. Okay, the next one is middle layer. First one is epidermis, then endothecium, then middle layer. 2 to 3 layers of cells next to endothecium constitute middle layers. Which one is middle layer? 2 or 3 layers cells next to endothecium, it will constitute middle layer. They are generally ephemeral. They disintegrate or get crushed during maturity. Then next one is tapetum. It's very important, tapetum. It is the innermost layer of anther wall and attains its maximum development at the tetrad stage of microsporogenesis. Here there is the innermost layer of the anther wall and attains its maximum development at the tetrad stage of microsporogenesis. Okay. Then it is mostly derived from partially from the peripheral wall layer and partially from the connective tissue. It mostly derived the layer from the peripheral and connective tissue of the anther lining in the anther lobe. Thus the tapetum is dual in origin function. Okay. It nourishes the developing sporongenous tissue, microspore mother cells and microspores. Nourishes the developing sporogenous tissue, microspore mother cells and microspores also there. The cells of the tapetum may remain uninucleate or may be certain more than one nucleus, or the nucleus may become polyploid in condition is there. That is the tapetum. Okay. And also the tapetum, it also contribute to the wall materials, sporopollenin, pollen kit, trypan and a number of proteins that control incompatibility reactions also occur in a tapetum. So it contributes the wall materials, sporopollenin, pollen kit, trypan and a number of proteins that control incompatibility of reaction. Okay, there is another one. Tapetum also control the fertility or sterility of the microspore or pollen grains. Tapetum also, it will control the fertility or sterility of the microspore or pollen grains. There are two types of tapetum based on its behavior. They are classified into two ways. Secretory tapetum and also another one is invasive tapetum. Secretory tapetum and invasive tapetum. First one is secretory tapetum, parietal or granular cellular. Parietal or granular cellular. The tapetum retains the original position. The tapetum, it will retain the original position and cellular integrity and nourishes the developing microspores. There is a condition of that secretory tapetum. The tapetum retains the original position and cellular integrity and nourishes the developing microspores. Then invasive tapetum. Invasive tapetum, there is a periplasmodial tapetum. The cells lose their inner tangential wall and radial walls and the protoplasm of all tapetal cells coalesces to form a periplasmodium. Like amoeba like structure is there. The cells lose their tangential and radial walls and the protoplasm of all tapetal cells closes to form a periplasmodium cells. Okay, that is called the invasive tapetum, periplasmodium. Then functions of tapetum. Here the functions, it supplies nutrition to the developing microspore. It will give the nutrition to the developing microspore, first one. And also it contributes sporopollenin through Ubi's bodies, thus plays an important role in pollen wall formation. First one, nourishes the nutrition, it supplies the nutrition and it will give the important role in pollen wall formation, play an important role in pollen wall formation, and pollen kit material is contributed by tapetal cells and it is later transferred to the pollen surface. Exine proteins responsible for rejection reaction of their stigma are present in the cavities of exine. These proteins are derived from tapetal cells. That is these are the functions of tapetum. Okay, next one is anther cavity. The anther cavity is filled with this microspore in young stages or with pollen grains at maturity. The anther cavity is filled with the microspore in young stages or with pollen grains at maturity. The mitotic division of microspore mother cells give rise to microspore which are haploid in nature. Haploid means nothing but n number of chromosomes only it will present. There is no diploid condition it will present. Okay, the next one, connective tissue. It is a column of sterile tissue surrounded by the anther lobe. It possesses vascular tissue. It also contributes to the inner tapetum. These are the connective tissue. There is a sterile tissue surrounded by the anther lobe. It possesses vascular tissue. It also contributes to the inner tapetum. Okay, the next one is microspore and pollen grains. Microspore and pollen grains. Okay, the next one is microspores and pollen grains. What are minute spores are there, and also the pollen grains. These pollen grains are mostly derived from the microspore mother cells. in a meiosis process. After the meiosis process, from the microspore mother cell, the pollen grains are liberated. So here next we see microspores are the immediate product of meiosis of the microspore mother cells, whereas the pollen grain is derived from the microspore. That is called microspores. Okay, the microspores have protoplasm surrounded by a wall which is said to be fully developed. Here the microspores are a protoplasm mostly surrounded by a wall which is said to be fully developed in condition. A nutritive functions also there. The pollen protoplasm consists of a dense cytoplasm with a centrally located nucleus also it will present. Here it is surrounded by a protoplasm and also in a center a nucleus it will present. Okay, the wall is differentiated into two layers. First one is intine and exine condition. Intine means inner layer, exine means outer layer. Here the wall is differentiated into two layers, namely inner layer called intine and outer layer is called exine. Okay, intine. What is the nature of the intine? Intine is very thin, uniform, and it is made up of pectin, hemicellulose, cellulose, and callose together with the proteins. These are made up of this intine. There is an inner layer. And exine is a thin and it is made up of cellulose, sporopollenin, and pollen kit. The exine is not uniform and it is thin and certain areas. Exine is not uniform in nature. Some of the areas it will present in thick or thin in nature. When there is a thin areas are small and around it is called as jumpos, or when elongated it is called furrows. Here exine is nothing but a thick layer it will present. In some of the areas it will present in small or thin surface it will present. These thin surfaces it is called it as jumpos. The holes it will present, that is called jumpos. When it is elongated, that is called furrows. It is associated with the germination of pollen grains also there. And also the germination it will also associated with this pollen grains. The sporopollenin is generally absent in jumpos. Sporopollenin it will absent in a jumpos. Okay. The surface of the exine. There is an outer layer is either smooth or captured in various patterns. Looks like a rod-like structure, grooved or warty or punctuate, etc. Anything is there. The capturing pattern is used in the plant identification and classification. Here the taxonomical view, the capturing pattern is mostly used for plant identification is there. Okay. Shape of the pollen grain varies from species to species. Here the shape of the pollen grains mostly varied from some of the species, one organism to another organism. It may be globose, ellipsoid, fusiform in nature, lobed, angular or crescent shaped it will present. The size of the pollen grains varies from one generation or one organism to another organism. First one it will present in myocytes. What is the size of that myocytes of pollen grain? Only 10 micrometer. 10 micrometer in myocytes and 10 to 200 micrometer in members of family Cucurbidaceae and Nyctaginaceae families. Okay, the pollen kit is contributed by the tapetum and colored yellow or orange and it is chiefly made up of carotenoids and flavonoids. Carotenoids, there is a carrot color is that. Pollen kit is mostly contributed by the tapetum and colored yellow or orange in color and is chiefly made up of carotenoids or flavonoids is there. It is an oily layer forming a thick viscous coating over pollen surface it will present. It attracts insects and protects damage from UV radiations also there. Okay. The next one is development of male gametophyte. How the male gametes are formed. The microspore is the first cell of the male gametophyte and it is haploid in condition. Haploid means nothing but there is a single chromosome. There is the haploid condition is that one number of chromosomes is there. The development of male gametophyte takes place while they are still in the microsporangium. It will present in a microsporangium. The development of microspore is occur. Male gametophyte it will occur in a microsporangium. The nucleus of the microspore divides mitotically to form vegetative and generative nucleus. The microspore it will present in a nucleus. The microspore it will present in a nucleus and it will divide it into mitotically to form a vegetative nucleus and a generative nucleus. Vegetative nucleus and generative nucleus. Here the wall is laid around the generating nucleus, resulting in the formation of two unequal cells. It is divided into two unequal cells, a large irregular nucleus bearing with abundant food reserve called vegetative nucleus, vegetative cells, and a small generative cells it will produce. There are two unequal cells are produced. First one is a large irregular nucleus bearing with abundant food reserve material called vegetative cells. The vegetative cells having large irregular nucleus bearing with the abundant food reserve, that is called vegetative cells, and small generative cells it will present. Generally at this stage, two cell stage only produced. The pollens are liberated from the anther. The pollen grains are liberated from the anther. In some plants, the generative cell is again undergoes a division to form two male gametes. After that, the generative cells it undergoes, there is some other divisions it will go for to form a two male gametes also there. The pollen is liberated at the two cell stage. The pollen is mostly liberated from the two cell stage only. 60% of angiosperm pollen is liberated in a two cell stage only. Further, the growth of the male gametophyte occurs only if the pollen reaches the right stigma. It will deposit in a stigma region, then it will produce, or otherwise it will produce a pollen tube. The pollen on reaching the stigma absorbs moisture and swells. The intine grows as pollen tube through the germ pore. The intine it will grow like a pollen tube through the germ pore, like through the pollen germ pore. In case of pollen is liberated at the two cell stage, the generative cells divide in a pollen into two male cells after reaching the stigma or in a pollen grains. Pollen tube before reaching the embryo sac. These are the pollen tube formation, how the pollen grains are formed from the microspores, from the microsporangium. There is a diagrammatically representation of pollen germination is there, how the pollen is produced from the anther. There is a external and internal is there, nucleus is there, germ pore is there, then the nucleus and vacuole it will present, then dividing nucleus. The nucleus is divided and also it will produce a vegetative nucleus and a generative cell and vegetative cells. In the vegetative cells, vegetative nucleus is the generative nucleus, it will also present in this there. There is a large and also there is a large one, it will present, that is a vegetative cell, irregular. Here, after that there is a two cells are formed, generative cells, again it will divide into two cells, pollen tube nucleus is also there, dividing generative nucleus, again it will divide into two cells, generative cells it will divide into two, tube nucleus also there, that two generative nucleus, that is called male gametes. That the male gametes again it will join with this embryosac in a egg apparatus as well as the polar nuclei, they are fused together, that is a double fertilization it will occur in this region. Okay, up to this one today's concept is over. Okay, you have to read very carefully up to this one. Okay, thank you students, thank you one and all.